Hey everybody, this is Ozark Prepper 1, and it's been a wild year, hasn't it? We're getting close to the end of this year, and a lot of people try to point the finger at themselves for the way things are. Now, think about this. We live pretty much on a planet, country, whatever nation you live in. You have to pay to exist. You got to pay somebody to exist. You can't just stay somewhere. You can't carve out your little square and stay in it and say, this is mine. You got to pay someone for that little square. Who are we paying? Um, Even in the land of the free, you can own a place as long as you pay your tax. Even if it's been in your family for hundreds of years. Over those hundreds of years, your family has paid a tax. So the powers that be don't take it away. Now, what kind of freedom is that? And we've allowed ourselves to become a rental society in the United States. And people have looked at their homes not as home, not as a place where memories are made. Families get together and you remember those joyous occasions at your grandparents or your mom and dad's or whatever, and you have those memories etched in your mind. You remember when one of your cousins slipped and fell in the mud when you were playing or something. You remember relatives that sat around and fished in the pond or something, or you had a musician in your family, or and you remember those events at that place at home, but you never thought of it as something that could be taken away if the patriarch of the family didn't pay the tax. And we've become a society now where people look at their home as an investment, something they can flip and then move to another home. And it was never meant to be that way. That's not the way life was supposed to be. Sure, people migrated over the centuries, but for the most part, people find a home and they make it home. And you get to know your surroundings and your people, your locals, and you become a part of a community like that, you know. And I think as Americans have grown apart from that, we've divided ourselves by not being part of a community, not a national so much community or global community, but your local community. And we have local politicians now all across the country, all across the world, that are in it for their own personal profit instead of the betterment of their neighbors and friends and family. What really benefits them. A handout doesn't benefit anyone long term. It's a short term drug fix. Same as when a dope dealer gives somebody drugs, they give them a little bit first so they want more. But that's the thing I see, to where they've been able to put the wool over everybody's eyes. And now we've got idiots lining up for vaccines thinking that that's going to help them. Did they not watch that Bill Gates video from 2004, 2005, whenever it was? You should look that up. Listen closely to what he says. And then decide if you think you need a vaccine or not. People are crazy. They've lost their minds. You know, what's wrong with just living your life? You know, uh, used to a person work a job, they would average 40 hours a week, not so much more. You know, you didn't have to work more than that to survive, to live a comfortable life. They've taken that away as the population grew. Instead of telling us, hey, why don't we control our population a little bit, guys? You know, calm down a little bit. They never did that. Instead, they just try to throw draconian measures to force people to do it themselves, or by horrible death in a hospital for some stupid illness of some kind that pops up out of the blue all of a sudden, you know, that we never heard of before. You know, all these little diseases, these internal diseases that people have, that they've had for the past 30 or 40 years, wasn't a big issue before that. It's in these processed foods, these drinks, and these lifestyles that people have that's caused all this. People have steered away from the traditional way of and pure way of living. Nobody's a saint, but everyone is guilty. You know, if you want to find the difference between a healthy, pure person, and they're not pure 100% clean soul or anything, but there is a major difference in a Western diet and, let's say, an East Indian diet, somewhere from India, or an Asian diet in that area. You know, I'm not saying China and Japan or whatever, because they've got some nasty diets too, just like we do in the West. But a lot of the people in India still stick to the natural food. They eat apples and oranges and grapes, bananas, and whatever basic meats there are. You know, they don't eat cows for some reason, but they eat less meat than we do. And I'm not against eating meat, but I do think Americans eat too much, and it shows. You know, we have people that their whole life consists of them waking up in the morning, they walk in front of a television set, and they sit down, and they eat snacks all day. And they draw a check for it because they're just too disabled to do anything. And then you can take a guy that works and has always worked, and a guy can get injured pretty bad, you know, to where you're breaking bones and slipping disc, and basically it gets an incredible amount of pain. And when that guy goes to apply for any kind of disability aid or anything like that, they say, "I'm sorry, sir, you don't qualify." And at this point in time, I don't think it's about race or gender, because they'll disqualify you if you have a good work history. They'll look at you and say, "Well, he can do it. He'll just have to pick himself up and keep working. He'll work." And, you know, once you have that long work history, they don't want to help you because they figure, well, he'll keep working, or she'll keep working. Either way. And that's what's destroyed America too. We've given handouts to people that don't deserve it. You know, open the doors and let these people flood in here that are absolutely worthless. They have no benefit to this country. You know, there's some good people that's come across our border. They came across it legally, and they want to be Americans. They don't want to be some other country living here. You know, they want to be us. They want to be a part of it. But right now, since 1974 or so, our population has doubled. And what that means is there's less room, less freedom. You know, with the population doubling, everything's doubled. Our police forces have doubled. Our military has doubled. Our government has doubled. And when that happens, you have less freedom. You have more people, more eyes watching you. You have less privacy. Now, in the old days, you get a bunch of rowdy teenagers, and you could set up a keg party in a small town on a big parking lot and get away with it. And even the local authorities would drive by and just say, "Hey, is everybody okay?" And they'd drive off. Not today. No. If you get some kids doing some ornery fun, basically, but it's not as bad as what they're doing now. You know, now they're on meth and heroin and all these other drugs. It's taken away that freedom. And you think when they offer you free drug use in a state that they're offering you that because they care about you being free to have your little pleasure there? When they say, okay, we're going to legalize marijuana, the reason they legalize marijuana is so you will be pacified with that. And while you're doing that, they also slip in other bills like, hey, we're going to take away a few rounds from your Second Amendment thing. That way you can only have half as many projectiles to launch. And we're going to take away this and take away that. And you just smoke your weed while we do that. And that's what that's all about. Because it would be different. You know, they want those people to vote. They want you to be high and stoned. And they want you to vote. That way your mind's clouded and your judgment is wrong. You know, your judgment's clouded. And they want those people to vote because you can get herd mentality easy with those people. Their fellow buddies run up to them that are stoned also, and they say, "Come on, man, this is the way we're voting." "Sure, bro." And they all just load up and go to the polling place, and they vote the wrong way for their own enslavement. There wasn't anything stopping those people from smoking weed in the first place. Freaking America's wide open. It's huge. What's going to stop you from smoking weed anyway? Why do you want it to be legal? You know, in a perfect world, yeah, you can have everything legal. But when it comes to your freedom and your nation and the safety of your own family, it's good to have your mind straight. It's good to have your mind clear and not be delusional, not be drunk, stoned. You don't want to be that. You know, if that's the life you want, then you should be sterilized, because no child should have to be brought up in that environment. And I think you people know that. But anyway, it's just a rainy, boring Wednesday. So I guess it's Wednesday. So I guess I'm going to get off of here. You all have a good rest of your week. Ozark Prepper 1 out.